In this week's video, I'm going to be having a pretty much free-form discussion about falling in love, the patriarchal world culture, and aspiring for greatness. Lego. Hi, hello, how are you? I am Darling Nihilism. I am a Zoomer who is on the journey of personal development. I am also a creative who loves to film and edit and write and make music. So I'm starting up a YouTube channel, basically just documenting what I'm learning, how my journey is going, things I'm observing, and I just want to build a community. And yeah, that's pretty much it. This week, different from my last video where I kind of was just taking something I found to be interesting, did a little research, kind of made it more formatted, even though I was a little all over the place. But I think it turned out all right if you want to check it out after this video. Okay, but this week I kind of just wanted to have, and maybe I'll have like different series and things like that in the future once I found my footing, but I kind of just wanted to have an open-ended free form. I basically just want to talk about love, my perception of it, what I feel about it now, how I felt about it before, just get into all the things with the lovey-dovey. So I think it's important for me to make a disclaimer. I think I need to make this disclaimer because I feel that the people who will actually like watch this all the way through right now in this moment are my good friends, and pretty much all of them, damn, gagged, literally all of them are in committed relationships and or married. So I'm just gonna make a quick little disclaimer and say, because I'm just gonna basically spoil what I'm gonna talk about, but it's fine. When I talk about this, I understand that like you can fall in love and you can be in a committed relationship and you can still do great things. You can still achieve your dreams. That looks different for everyone, whether you want to focus all your attention on raising a family or grow a business or be a creative. So I understand that everyone is multifaceted. I understand that people can do both. People can choose either or. I'm just talking about myself. I'm not saying that you gotta make a choice. And this is like, I'm just talking about myself. I just want to make that perfectly clear. And my intention is genuinely not to offend anyone. I truly do love. Like, whenever I hear my friends talk about their significant others, it genuinely makes me happy because I love them. And they have people to love and they deserve it. So, like, I genuinely don't have a problem with it. I think I just want to talk about how I felt over the years. And, so that's out of the way. Let's get into it. How did I start thinking about this? Let's start with where I even got this concept of falling in love and societal pressures and the fight against that between being great at your art or your craft or your skill or whatever. I was re-listening to the musicals my high school put on while I was enrolled. I was only in 2 of them, if you care. My freshman year was Aida, sophomore year was Footloose, junior year was The Wedding Singer, and then my senior year, I didn't even see this production, had no part of it, but it kills me because it's one of my favorite musicals by my favorite composer, the 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. If you care, that's not really important to follow the train of thought there. The musical that stuck out to me the most and the one I kept listening to the most, the songs of, was Aida. It's basically about the story of an enslaved Nubian girl who falls in love with the army captain of Egypt. He's in a love triangle with the pharaoh's daughter. The slave he happens to be in love with is actually the Nubian princess. I'ma just stop there because it's really great. Highly recommend it. Ooh, that's a whole nother video of how Aida but how it leads to what I'm even talking about in this video. I just started really romanticizing the love between the characters of Aida and Radames, mostly through the music. I mean, I've been watching the original Broadway cast bootleg on repeat. I can't get it's giving addiction. It's giving. Now when I see a picture of Adam Pascal, I'm triggered. Now when I see Heather Headley, I'm triggered. Like A Step Too Far, probably my favorite song from the musical, is just this powerful ballad. And like, just from a musician and like a lyricist perspective, and ooh, they did it. Elton and Tim did it with that one. They were eating, they were hungry, and they cleared their plates. No crumbs. Basically, to get back to the point, was that I was really romanticizing the love, and not necessarily like thirsting over Adam Pascal or Heather Healy. Like, I mean, they're amazing, but again, they're real people, they're playing characters, whatever. But when it comes to like Aida and Radames, it's like, damn. I don't want to ruin the musical, so I really can't get into why it's really me up. It just had me start to kind of be conscious about how I'm kind of not only forming a parasocial relationship with these characters, but also romanticizing a love that is really toxic, and not necessarily toxic from like the people in the relationship, but outside factors and the timepiece. Again, last time I'll say it, but really check out the musical. It's fantastic. Yeah, it just had me, it got to a point where I was like, okay, I can't watch the bootleg anymore. I need to stop listening to these songs because they're great and I can come back to them at a later time, but where I am right now, it's not healthy for me. It's just not. It just had me thinking about the way I romanticize toxic situations. There is this political commentator who, again, parasocial relationship, found him attractive, whatever, and recently he's been in a scandal, a really messed up scandal, whole content nuke on him. And when I saw these things I had never known before, I was like, I was really messed up about it. I mean, afterwards, I don't find him attractive at all, but it's just the fact that there were hints that he was this type of person, and I was like, oh, like really, it was kind of clear after I watched the content nuke, and I was just like, why do I still like think about like, oh, if we hooked up or da-da-da-da-da? First of all, it's just like weird because he doesn't know I exist. When I was seeing these red flags, I was just like, oh, whatever, like I'm still daydreaming, da-da-da-da-da. And it took literally him saying pretty much atrocious things in my eyes. I get you're being real and you can think these things, but what's really gagging me is that you're admitting to them like it's nothing. That like little parasocial relationship really made me think like, why am I still like looking to and it's not necessarily men, mostly, but why am I looking to like people who aren't the best? Even if I were to meet them, probably wouldn't treat me how I want to be treated. It's like my soul has a disconnect from my mind, because logically I'm like, yeah, this would not, even if it were to happen, you probably wouldn't be the happiest you could be. But it's like I've been conditioned to just want this type of person or look at certain aesthetics. And just listening to Aida and thinking about that, and then thinking about how it took literally him being like crystal clear, no ambiguity for me to, okay, like, yeah, I can't, I mean, not that I was supporting him, but not watch his content, not be in the drama, whatever. And then another thing I started, so like once I started realizing how I was romanticizing like toxic love and another breath, toxic people, I started to really just be like, you know what? I believe everyone should be able to do what they want. But personally, I would only want to be with someone, in all the ways, if we were in a relationship. I want to be in a monogamous relationship, to do sexual things with someone, to do emotional things with someone, to do sensual things with someone. That is required for me to even put my mind there. But then the more I started thinking about it, it's like, because I've been conditioned to think, and this is kind of where the patriarchal world culture comes in. I've been conditioned to think as a woman, as someone with a pussy, and it annoys me that I have to bleep that out because I'll get to that. We'll get to that. As someone with a I've been conditioned to feel the biggest thing in life is like meeting that special someone and falling in love and this love story. And I think that's fine if it happens for people. And if it happens to me, cool. But like now I'm at the point where if it doesn't, that's cool too. I guess what I'm trying to say because I'm trying to make this all cohesive, but it's just this realization of me thinking about, okay, what do I want to do as a creative? Like I'm getting back into YouTube, something I love. Maybe it'll be something, maybe it'll not, but it's just feeding that dog in me to be creative. And then I've been working on outlining a script. I've been working on songs I wrote and writing new songs, and like I even want to try writing a musical. Like I'm just super inspired and thinking about all the potential I have. And it's like, okay, think about it. You only want to be in a relationship. You don't want to do hookups, situationships. You only want to be in a relationship. So pretend you meet someone tomorrow, you fall in love and have all that. I want to be the best partner I can be to anyone I'm with. So that means giving up things I want to compromise. And that's fine. But it's like, I've already compromised so much before. I've never not compromised. And it comes to this point of when people, oh my gosh, shout out to Raphael Bob. I think his last name's Waxberger. I'm so disrespectful because BoJack is right there. The person who made BoJack Horseman wrote a book. It's basically short stories, and in one of the stories he wrote about how like, oh, so and so didn't really love this person, they just loved the idea of being in love. And when I read that, I was like, oh, you're cooking. And two, you're reading me, because It's like, I've been like that. Like, no one's told me that. I haven't been in a relationship, really, if you count freaking fourth grade and middle school, but not a real adult relationship. No one's told me that, but it's like, I really feel like that's true. Like, I always think about like all the like romantic things and just this concept of like like real love to me is like hard and stressful, and like all these romantic love, I mean, hard and stressful, and you can have high highs and low lows. But to me, I think I just like the idea of like being in love with someone rather than like loving someone, because that requires energy and work. And now that I'm focusing on my personal development, and that's literally my main focus, I really have to be conscious about not searching for that. Again, if it happens, I'm not gonna push it away if it's meant to happen. But even before I started really taking personal development seriously, like I was on all the apps, swiping multiple times a day, meeting up with people, and it would go nowhere. And it just got to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm trying so hard that it's not me. I think it's just that the universe is telling me, hey, you need to focus on yourself, because I'm trying way too hard for me to be the problem. Now going back to like being in this place of like trying to move on from parasocial fantasies and romanticizing this painful love that's like real in the story, you know, but falling in love seems really cool. And if it happens to me, that's amazing. But if I had a choice, I'd rather be great. I'd rather be, and when I mean great, this is the kind of great I mean.
Let me tell y'all something. Aside from, you see this hat, you see this jacket, I'm a nice presenting woman. I'm hungry. I want to be the best. If I have 2 days, if I have 24 hours, I'm going to work my hardest to make the best performance, because I want to be the best. Period. Don't let the jumpsuit fool you.
In screenwriting, I don't necessarily want to be the best. I want to be the best I can be, because I've recognized that being the best in anything is contingent on other people validating you and other people because like you can't be the best. Like you can be the best to yourself, but are you really the best? Unless you're being delusional, or maybe you're being confident. But I feel that when you become the best you can be, it's not only real, because I am really in the pursuit of being the best I can be, but it's limitless. Because being the best, at a certain point, someone else is gonna come up. Someone else, you know, being the best you can be, it's limitless. And it's contingent on me, on what I know. I don't need outside validation to be the best I can be, and I'll continue to be better instead of just being the best and then that's like a stopping point, I retire, whatever. But to get back to it, it's just I'm about to move to a different city, and like just like if I meet someone and we fall in love, but it's like I want to be the best partner I can be, and I really want to be the best friend I can be and the best person I can be to whomever it is. I really just want to be the best I can be, and I'm in the pursuit of greatness. And I don't think the world is binary, but it seems to me like you definitely have to give a part of yourself to be in a healthy, wonderful relationship. And right now at 21, I'm just not focused on that. And maybe even in a year I'll feel differently. I can't speak to the future, but I can speak how I feel now. And being in a relationship and falling in love seems so nice in my head, but what I care more about is making great art. Great art. And I may never get the recognition. I may never get the life I think I'm gonna have for myself. But if I make a genuinely good pilot script or a genuinely good EP that's genuinely full of greatness, I'll be satisfied. Now, let me talk about what I've been reading about and how I started connecting the dots here. I don't know how, divine intervention, divine timing, I stumbled across this book called Pussy. It's basically a reclamation of the word itself as it's used as a slur against women, people with pussies. In the book, basically referring to the patriarchy, it uses this term PWC, patriarchal world culture, and it basically talks about how we've been conditioned to value masculine energies over feminine energies, and how people with are conditioned to hate what is so innate to them. And we're told in order to get ahead or be respected that we have to devalue things that are more feminine, like being nurturing, having empathy, being more in tune with your emotions. And it's not necessarily like misogynist, just conditioning everyone, but even people who are, it's basically all kinds of people. Like we all have a little internalized misogyny. That doesn't make everyone a misogynist, but it's just the idea that feminine values are really disrespected while masculine values are much more tolerated, much more accepted. Like the thing of how a woman can be a tomboy and no one really cares about it, while a man can be more, I don't even know what the equivalent to that is, but just be more feminine. And that's a problem of how trans women are more likely to be attacked and vilified than trans men. When it comes to trans people in media, trans men barely get talked about. It's literally, the focus is on trans women. When it comes to the queer community, it's drag queens. I've never heard a drag king get talked about in public, and they exist. So it's just this idea to just hate and vilify feminine things and see them as weaker opposed to masculine things. And honestly, I feel that I really resonate with the book. I'm gonna leave a link to it down below. It just means that much to me. It's very eye-opening, very validating, and I do feel I want to do more research into the history of matriarchs and the history of pussies and how it's not just something that's pornographic and sexual, it's something that's connected to divine energies. Like I really want to do more research. I feel like I've only scratched the surface. I'm like 3 chapters into the book. This is kind of reframing my perspective on the conversation of love and following this life for myself that most people with pussies are conditioned not to think about. And this is how I came to this conclusion, because at this point, I don't want to hear a love song. Sarah Bareilles, not a love song. Like it's given that. I don't want to hear a love song. If I hear something even about love or relationships, I don't want to hear it right now. Not saying the songs aren't good. I just don't want to hear it. And what I've noticed, I literally had to go to ChatGPT and ask, hey, can you recommend me some songs and albums that are about women, if we can be even more specific, like Black queer women whom are speaking about wanting to be great and wanting to be great writers and being the best you can be in your craft, or something you like, something that's not romantic love. I'd even settle for like platonic love, because again, that's the most kind of love I felt is platonic love. So I'd rather listen to that than romantic love. I'm just trying to steer away from the whole, but platonic love to me is like, you can have platonic, like that's a whole other conversation. Obviously there are people that are making albums about being great and truly getting into your craft, and it's not just about like fucking people or being in a relationship or someone broke your heart or and not saying that we can't have music like that, because those songs are still good. It's just where I am in this season of life. I don't want to listen to that. Like I'm in this season of trying to be the best writer, musician, creative I can be. And if I happen to fall in love, that's cool and everything. But it's like I've spent so much time thinking about it and thinking how it would just transform my life, when really what's transformed my life is my ambition, is my determination to be the best I can be. Reading the book really validated how, because again, like men are conditioned to just be great. Like I can think of so many songs and like I can't even listen to them now because they're so misogynistic and it's low vibes. It's about being great and being the best and like having that dog in them, and it's just the ratio of that for women, it's not there. It's really not there. And there's like empowering music for women, but just talking about specifically like not just about being like super attractive or being good in bed or like being the baddest bitch. It's like those are cool, those aren't bad, but we also need women being like Doechii wanting to be the best, won against all the other men in the category off a mixtape. It's just things like that. I really believe like when things are making sense for you in life, there's a lot of synchronicities that happen. And me finding this book and starting to love Doechii and just really playing her songs like an anthem to me is just solidifying to me that I'm not saying everyone else has to be like this, and I'm not saying anyone is wrong. But for me, for Nixon, for Darling Nihilism, this is just the path I want to take, and whatever happens. But in this moment, on March 3rd of 2025, I am done thinking about falling in love. Not saying I never want it to happen, not saying it's stupid, but just saying that I just want to focus all my attention into becoming as best I can be. If I could choose one thing, screenwriting. I'm not going to. I'm going to do multiple things. But if I had to just be a master of something, it would be screenwriting. Yeah. That's genuinely how I feel. That's just me being real. And yeah. So now I think it's important to talk about how I want to move forward. I've broken down how I got to this conversation in my head of this conflict between potentially finding someone as I'm bettering myself and being the best creative I can be, to this book that is highly influencing me to kind of have confidence and reclaim my power and to just shed all the skin of misogyny and self-deprecation and world order. A little cringy to say, but basically now it's what do I do now? And I think what I'm going to do now, just be mindful. I'm not gonna starve myself of like, if I genuinely like a song and it speaks to me, I'm not just gonna, just because they talked about loving someone, like I'm not gonna be a child about it. I think I just have to use discretion and make sure to focus on what I care about and just reassess. Again, 6 months, a year, I could feel completely different. So it's not just to like say, yeah, this is the way, the truth, and the life, and this is how it's gonna be forever. No, this is just how I feel right now. And I felt it's important to talk about it because I don't really, I was like looking up like this kind of topic. I didn't really see anyone talking about it. Yeah, I think I just need to be more mindful. I need to really, actions speak louder than words. I need to really practice, write a lot more than I do, and just really be great and see how that feels. And maybe it's not what I think it's going to be, but I need to get there first before I can really truthfully be like, oh, okay, this is what it's like. Because now I just have an idea of what it would be like, but I need to see it to fruition. And also just be open to meeting people, because I am a people person. Like when I move, I really want to socialize a lot more than I'm already doing now. I just am not so much more focused on meeting people and finding a partner. Like now it's just, I just want to meet people. I just want to make genuine connections with people. I want to meet genuinely good people who align with what I care about and what I love and what I want to do for the world. And I want to grow up with them. I want like day ones. Like I had that, but high school, COVID, whatever. And I'm cool with them, but it's like, it's never going to be how it was. So now it's like, okay, I'm an adult now, let me try building it up. And I already have some people like that now, and it's just focusing on them and then also expanding. But overall, just wrap this up. I have greatness in me, and it's a matter of sharpening my sword and being undeniable to the point where it can be put on a stage. You know, thanks to falling in love, some of the best films and shows and songs have been produced. So I gotta give falling in love its flowers. I just think that, you know, there are billions of people that have existed and are existing, and put everyone in these like 12 boxes, it's kind of insane. So I believe people should be able to do what they want, love who they want, be who they are, and you do you and I'm gonna do me. If I do happen to meet someone and I do fall in love and they're watching this, everything I said is valid. You're probably very cute, and I hope you got some entertainment out this video. Yes. Good morning, good evening, and good night.